This is extremely petty, and I love it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and the New York Knicks are upset with the calls that Jalen Brunson is getting in the playoffs, and it is so petty considering how the Pacers fans, how the Indiana Pacers, how Rick Carlisle, how Nick Nurse, how the 76ers and their fans all have felt about Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks this playoffs, and we're going to break this thing down. So let's do just that. According to league sources who have told Ian Begley that members of the New York Knicks organization are upset with how star point guard Jalen Brunson is being officiated thus far in the playoffs, and per Begley, there's a feeling that the MVP candidate is being grabbed and hit up and down the floor, and it's going unnoticed by the refs. Now, most of us have probably seen that photo of Jalen Brunson trying to move where Tyrese Halliburton is fully pulling on Brunson's jersey, and there was no call there. That's kind of where this is coming from. Brunson's jersey gets grabbed a lot by opposing teams to try to stop him. Nick Batum did it in that infamous thing when everyone got upset because they were like, oh, Brunson jumped backwards, when he really just jumped up and got pulled backwards by Nick Batum, if anything, even though he still kind of went forwards. But it's whatever. Knicks won that series. Knicks are winning this Pacers series. But yeah, the Knicks are mad about it, and I do see why. It's not like Jalen Brunson's shooting by far the most free throws per game in the playoffs. Joel Embiid has the most free throws attempted per game. And yes, Brunson's second, but still, he's in the realm with everyone else. It's not like he's far and above ahead of everyone else. And these comments, as I said, they're just funny because when you look at Rick Carlisle's comments on how small market teams deserve an equal shot when he was going on that whole rant, and then got fined for it, which is absolutely hysterical. And overnight, according to Brian Windhorst, a couple nights back, the Pacers filed 49 calls that they felt were incorrect from Game 2 to the NBA office, according to a league source. And they sent in 29 from Game 1 that they also withheld for a total of 78 calls. Now, look, it's just kind of sad, in my opinion, that that's what you're doing with your time. You're not even game planning for the Knicks. I mean, this is what losers do. This is a losing mentality. Well, we lost these two games, so instead of adjusting, instead of game planning all night, we're just going to complain about it. That's definitely going to help everyone. That's totally going to work. And I really look forward to seeing how that works. I don't know fully when this video is coming out, if it's coming out before the Knicks game or maybe on Saturday morning. I am filming this at 3:15 p.m. on Friday, so I don't know what happened in Game 3 if this is coming out later. It might not. I might just drop it instantly. We're still figuring things out over here. But I find it so funny that this is what they're doing. Like, what if you lose Game 3? What if you lose? And it's not because of fouls. What if the fouls are fairly even again, like they have been all series, and you guys just lose? Like, what happens then? What's the whole thing? What's the excuse? Bring them all out. Let's see what's going to happen if you guys go down 3-0. Are you still going to blame the fouls, or are you going to blame the fact that you don't play a lick of defense? We all know where the Knicks and the Pacers are with free throws if another video I posted or I'm about to post comes out, because the Knicks, they don't really foul teams that often. It's because they play real defense. They play real physical defense, and they're also not fouling it in the process, while the Indiana Pacers play lazy defense, and lazy defense leads to more fouls, and it's why the Pacers have the most opponent free throw attempts per game and also the most personal fouls over the regular season. When you look at situations like that, you see why the Knicks would be shooting more free throws, and they are. The Knicks are shooting 48 free throws to the Pacers 36 throughout this series, so it's still only a 12 free throw difference, despite the fact that the Pacers foul a ton, and they let a lot of fouls happen, and they have more free throws taken against them than any other team this season. So when you look at things like that, it's fairly obvious why the Knicks are shooting free throws, and you're still going to complain. You're not even going to say, hey, guys, let's try not to foul as much. Let's play more straight-up defense. Let's stay home more. Let's go straight up. All that stuff, no. They're not doing that. They're still just going to keep doing the same stuff because Rick Carlisle's not adjusting, and when you don't adjust, you lose. You lose. Remember why the Pacers are here. Let's not get it twisted. They played a Bucks team without Giannis Antetokounmpo, who for my money is the third best player in the NBA behind Jokic and Embiid. And also, when you look at things, They didn't have Dame fully healthy. They missed Dame for a game or two. I know Dame came out at one point and didn't go back in. So clearly the Pacers are here because they played an injury-riddled Bucks team that already had their own problems. So it's not like y'all got here because you did some amazing job. No, you beat Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis in 6 games. Congratulations. Maybe if you adjusted and you took things more seriously and played defense, then you could beat the Knicks also. But to beat the Knicks in 6 games, you're going to have to win the next 4, and there's probably a better likelihood of Taj Gibson actually becoming president like Darielle and I have pushed for than the Pacers winning the next 4 games against the Knicks. Injuries or not, I know OG's out. There's a good chance OG's done for the season. Do I still think the Knicks are going to win this series? Absolutely. Why? Because the Pacers are not a good team. They don't play defense. Tell me when a defensive team or a non-defensive team, a team that does not play a lick of defense, has gotten to the conference finals. Even the Nuggets last year, they weren't the greatest defensive team by any means. They actually broke the record of first team not coming off of a back-to-back in over 30 years to win a finals without a top 10 defensive rating. They broke that. And the Pacers are not the Denver Nuggets. They don't have the best player in the NBA who just won his 3rd MVP in 4 years. And arguably, it should be his 4th MVP in 4 years, if you really want to say it. So, the Nuggets have one of the best players in the history of basketball. The Pacers don't. They don't have a margin to not play elite defense. They have to. But instead, they've stacked their lineup up with guys like Tyrese Halliburton, who's so good at offense. He doesn't need to be a great defender. But then you have Andrew Nembhard, who's a fine defender, but is getting mixed by Brunson. You have Aaron Nesmith, who's not a great defender. You have Pascal Siakam, who's a pretty solid defender, but he's a forward. He can't guard Brunson. And then you have Miles Turner, who's good at blocking shots. That's about it. And then you have TJ McConnell on your bench, who's an absolutely excellent perimeter defender. I'd say one of the best perimeter defending point guards, at least, in the NBA, if not just one of the best perimeter defenders in general and a very smart player. But no, you're sticking him on the bench at the end of games, and then look what happens. Brunson's he's drawing fouls. He's getting past Nembhard. He's creating for himself because McConnell's not there to be an annoying defender. And again, I've said this before. I mean it very positively towards TJ McConnell. He's awesome. The Pacers finished the regular season with an average of 21.4 fouls per game and 26 opponent free throw attempts per game, which was the most in the NBA. The Knicks, on the other hand, were much more disciplined as they finished with 17.6 and 4th in free throw attempts at 19.7, 6th in fouls per game. So the Knicks are just a more disciplined defensive team. And you know what? That has led to the Knicks becoming more successful and beating the Pacers in the playoffs so far. And now the Knicks are 2 games away from going to their first Eastern Conference Finals in my lifetime. And I'm 22 years old. And that's true. This would be the first time in my lifetime that the Knicks would make the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm probably, over a quarter into my life? Like, I'm not making it to 88. So it's taken this long for me to maybe see a Knicks Eastern Conference Finals. And they fully deserve it because they're injured. They should be losing to the Pacers because the Pacers are fully healthy. But they're not. Great job, Indiana. You guys are doing real well. Now, if you look at the drives per game, Jalen Brunson has the most, and he still does not shoot the most free throws per game in the playoffs. That still goes to Joel Embiid right there at 13 to Brunson's 10.4, despite the fact that Brunson drives more than any other players. And just for more reference, even just for my sake, to pull this drives back up, Brunson drives 25 times per game. Luka is 2nd, Shea is 3rd, Jamal Murray is 4th, and Donovan Mitchell is 5th. All of those guys are one of the best scorers on their team. 4 of the 5 of them are the best player on their team, undebatably. And then there's Jamal Murray, who's great in his own right. And we see from here, clearly it's affecting winning. Is there a single Pacer on the list? No. Maybe you guys should focus more on stuff like that instead of complaining. But, that's what happens when you're not a winning culture like the Indiana Pacers. It's what happens when you have a loser mentality going into things. And the Pacers have paid the price. Now, I find it really funny that the Knicks have done this, and I think the Knicks do have some grounds of like, hey, you know what? Brunson probably should be shooting like 2-3 more free throws per game with the amount he drives to the hoop, with the amount of contact that comes out. And hopefully he gets more calls for that. And it'll just be real funny to see. But, guys, Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I right? Am I wrong? If you're a Pacers fan, LOL. Have a great day, guys. Subscribe to Knicks Digest. Turn on post notifications. Like this video. All that good stuff because it helps me out a ton, and it's really not going to change your life that much. So it'll be your good deed of the day. That's a pretty easy good deed. You click a button, dude. It's a button. You literally just go onto your computer, do that, and you're subscribed. It's so easy. I'm not that boring. I'm not that ugly. Y'all can deal with me for 10 minutes a day. Have a great day and go Knicks.